from the Big Apple,
the premier behind-the-scenes podcast all about Big Apple Live.
The cast, the music, the laughs.
50 years of funny.
Live, laugh, love, and love laughing.
Hold for laughs.
Just read the cards.
And oral history.
And now your hosts, Billy and TJ. Oh, yep, it's me. It's Billy Rockwell here and my buddy TJ.
Hey, it's TJ here with my buddy Billy Rockwell.
Wow. Today we have an incredible guest. We have Rayclon. Everybody knows Rayclon. He was on BAL 2006 to 2011. A Cyprian Centaur. The first Cyprian Centaur on Big Apple Live.
A breakthrough for the show.
Big, it's nice to see inclusion like that on Big Apple Live, such a venerable institution. We're getting broader. We're getting Cyprian Centaurs on now. Mm-hmm. We talked to Rayclon. We had a great time, cracking the heck up. Talked a bit about his childhood. Might be a little different than most people's childhoods.
Or hey, maybe some people out there listening will find some common ground.
Maybe you relate to Rayclon. Maybe it's right up your alley. We talked about one of my favorite stand-up bits he has about how centaurs answer the phone and how humans answer the phone and how different that is.
It's a very physical bit, but I think it'll translate through the audio.
It's incredibly physical and hard to pull off, but I gotta say I do it all the time for my kids and they love it. We talked about Cyprian and how he feels, we talked to Rayclon and about how he feels about horse puns.
Yeah, it's a really, you'll hear it. It's a really dicey, topic for him.
It's not something you want to mess with.
No.
And we talked about all his Big Apple Live characters. We talked about Scott. We talked about Calvin. We talked about Marjorie, the roller skating giant.
Again, that one, very physical bit, but I think it'll translate.
Very physical bit. But let's not talk about it anymore. Let's just hear it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So, hey, folks, on the other side of the break, you're going to hear Rayclon. Hey, Rayclon, welcome to the studio. How you doing, my man?
Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be here.
Wow, the pleasure's all ours, Rayclon. It's incredible to have you here. Big fan.
And I of yours.
Thank you very much, Rayclon.
I am a stan, Rayclon. I am a stan.
Quick question before we begin. Why haven't you two come to visit me in the Followy Forest? The invitation's been extended several times.
I don't like planes. I'll just say that I tend, when I go on improv tours, we do a bus. Mm-hmm. And so I don't, as I understand it, it's quite a flight to get to the Folio Forest, right?
Well, you could also go by sea.
Okay, you've got me there. I guess I've been avoiding it a little bit.
Why, you're a fan of Carnival Cruises. I thought you would love such an adventure.
I do. I love Carnival Cruises. Have you had the mac and cheese on a Carnival cruise?
Yeah. Have you been on a Carnival cruise if you haven't had the mac and cheese?
Oh, come on. That's what I'm saying. You can get it 24 hours a day.
It's unbelievable. Creamiest, and yet also the breaded crumbs add a much needed crunch that offsets the creaminess in just the perfect way.
It's one of my vices that I will, and this is bad behavior, but I will scoop the top layer off and just have extra breadcrumb.
Ooh, bad boy.
Crunch on my plate.
Much like your characters, you go against the grain, Billy.
That's right. TJ, why haven't you been out there?
Yeah, TJ.
Yeah, my new mothers won't allow me travel right now.
That's a new development, though. At best,
it's pretty new, but they just look out for my safety, and you know, I don't know if you've heard, Rayclon, but a lot of planes have been going down recently. So
I've heard such news.
Yeah.
Well, it's my understanding that there is very little magic on these planes, hence the aviation failures that have been happening as of late.
Now you think like there should be more magic to keep planes flying?
Billy, don't you think there should be more magic in this world?
I can't say no to that. That sounds exciting.
Right.
I gotta say, before, I met you a couple times in passing on the show, and I'd be coming in to res some of the new writers, or I hosted once while you were there. And I gotta say, like, before I met you, I didn't think magic was real. And I'm sorry for that.
I encounter that often as I head eastward. But once you taste it, you can't untaste it. Magic is present. It's ever present around the world. You just need to sometimes have it put in your face in order to believe.
Yeah. It sounds a little bit like Carnival Cruise's mac and cheese in that way.
Have we ever hung out once and not talked about that mac and cheese? I feel like it's a classic go-to.
I love that mac and cheese. And I don't know if I said this earlier, I like the crunchy bit on top.
You like to scoop it off and have a little bit extra.
I must have. Yeah, I must have said
you brought it up. Oh, you brought it up.
Yeah, I brought it up. We should start at the top, though, Rayclon. Speaking of magic, you had I had a childhood a lot of people have heard about. I always talk about my radio flyer, my wagon, and my sled. But you had a bit of a different childhood. Do you want to speak on that any?
Yes. I guess you could say it's different. Well, it's where I'm from. It's a common in childhood, but for where you're from, I understand it's more rare. My father, Zeus, in frustration after Aphrodite had eluded him, spilled his seed upon the land, and thus many of us Cyprian centaurs were born.
I'm sorry, and when you say spilled his seed, what do you exactly mean?
TJ, I'm not sure how much you would like to talk about your father spilling his seed and getting into such detail. I'm not sure.
I'm very open with my father, and we hang out and we sort of shoot the shit and talk about it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You've been kicked out of many restaurants for your open conversations.
Yeah. We go hard with these conversations.
Yes.
We like to talk loud in public spaces about this sort of personal life issues, some might say, but we're open people.
All right. Well, then open I shall be. My father Zeus, as I said, spilled his seed, meaning that he had ejaculated across the land, and well, he allowed what was created to be created. And of the creations, the Cyprian centaurs are probably the most well-known. Now, we are not the only centaurs. However, what sets us apart is that we are ox-horned. Many centaurs are not, but we are ox-horned.
Ox-horned centaurs.
Yes, you might say that gives us an added sense of, some would say, masculinity. However, we are in touch with our feminine side as well. Yes, we do have a reputation for being drunkards and being a bit mischievous and being a bit, we like to, I guess you could say we like to spread the seed ourselves. But
sure,
we
Sounds
also,
like
as I said, are in touch with our feminine side, a softer side, and it's best to balance both worlds.
Well, it's really cool to hear about other cultures and other people's childhoods, and you see your own in it. But I gotta say, like, I'm not completely ignorant of centaur culture. As a kid, I kind of got into centaur music, and through that, learnred a lot of the particulars of centaur culture. And
what's centaur music? The Morgons?
I love the Morgons. Are you kidding me? It was an issue for me because it does have the explicit lyrics tag on the outside of that record, and it did get taken away from me. And
Yes.
that only served to make me more be in Centaur culture. This might be a little unconventional, but instead of regular pants, I would buy Centaur pants, and they just looked very baggy in the back and kind of trailing behind me. But I felt like that was the culture I identified with as a teen.
Were they constantly getting extremely muddy?
I got, yes, very, very muddy pants. I would trip a lot, and people
would also trip.
Yes, other people would trip, and classmates would laugh at me. And to borrow my dialect at the time, I would say something like, "Get off of my pants." Didn't go.
Very
well.
good imitation,
Thank
Billy.
you.
A very good imitation.
Yeah, my history teacher in particular had a real issue with those pants.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to let you know that Centaur pants really only exist in Eastern culture. Where I'm from, we don't wear pants. But once I made my way stateside, I was forced to do so, and I will tell you, it took a little bit of time, but it did allow me to express myself in different ways. Colors, textures, styles, sizes. It really did open up worlds to me, even though it was confining in others.
I see what you're saying. Well, I remember 2007, you had a sketch of Magic Eye pants. Magic
Yes.
Eye was sweeping the nation, and you had that
Yes.
sketch where everybody had
Killer
to
sketch.
get their nose right up on your lower half.
You had to wear them in order for the other person to see them, to see the image. You couldn't just have they couldn't be on a rack and then you could make it out. They had to be worn, all right? They had to be stretched out in a way that the eye could then behold the vision. And yes, I would make them get close to my crotch and the audience would eat it up.
They love that.
They certainly did. It was, if I'm being truthful, it didn't go over that well in the room,
Right.
As we read our sketches, but I said, please, give this one a shot. If it doesn't work, I'll go back to Greece, knowing I tried my best.
And I would hear you would do that a lot. You would threaten to leave the show if your sketches didn't make it on air.
Every sketch.
Yeah.
Every sketch
I wrote. Yes. I didn't write that many sketches, to be honest. So it didn't happen that often. But when I wrote, I threatened. I got on two hooves and I would shout loudly. And then I would tower over everyone. And they would cower under me. And lo and behold, the sketch would get on and it would destroy.
Love to hear it.
Just from my mental picture, my mind was flooded with options when you said two hooves. And that could be the front two, could be the right two, could be the left two, could be diagonal.
The only two.
Yeah.
No, I had four.
You have four hooves.
Four hooves. I had
Yeah.
four. It was the back two.
The back two. Intimidating.
Sorry, I've been hanging out with the Hoppies, and we've had a few to drink. As you know, Hoppies are part woman, part bird, and they are mischievous. They are.
Oh, yeah, you should be careful hanging out with them.
I've
They'll
been
pull
in
pranks.
this magical forest. Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
I know. We have a good time. I laugh at them, and we just enjoy each other's company at this point. Just
Wow.
talk about the old times and whatnot.
That's great. Are they curious about Big Apple Live? Were they fans?
I brought them to a couple of shows. Yes.
Wow.
However, because of their trickster nature, they would often steal people's wallets and purses, and then they would hide them throughout the city. And they would give little clues. People were frustrated for sure. But they would have to go search far and wide. Central Park, the Empire State Building, Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's not even in the city technically.
That's way farther than the other locations.
Yeah,
Yes. Those people
very
were particularly
mischievous.
frustrated, yes.
Yeah, I do remember that headline and the picture with it where Bjorn Nigel finds wallet in Liberty Bell. And he did not he didn't look happy in the picture. I've never talked to him about it, but that seemed like a night.
Okay, well, he wasn't much for liberty, if you recall.
Yes. I mean, I felt like I had the freedom to come and go technically, but when it's Tuesday night, midnight, you don't have a sketch, you're stuck there, right?
Mm-hmm. You're stuck there. You got to watch. You got to laugh. You got to put on a good face and say, this was a good show, even without me.
And was that your method, or would you more rear up on your haunches?
Well, I'll tell you what. The first season was tough. All right? The first season, I hadn't written any sketches. I had what you call writer's block, and I was a little fearful of this new world. And I was mostly background, so if there was an office sketch, I'd be fiddling away on a computer in the background. You might not even notice me, except I was towering over my computer and would clip-clop over to the water cooler when needed.
That brings up part of it where it seemed like for the first few years, I didn't even know there was a Centaur on the cast. I would just see a man without a shirt on, and then a large desk in front of him, or some barrels, or a table.
I take that as a compliment. I take that as a compliment to my acting prowess, and as someone who didn't come from a traditional theatrical background, I am very grateful to hear such news. It means a lot to me as I try.
You're just a natural performer. It's something that a lot of performers kind of aspire to. You sort of were just born with it, I want to say. You even speak very theatrical.
Well, I would say that I observed very much, and I would say that I probably got a lot of my technique from the local sirens. I would listen to them lure the sailors with their enchanting voices, and I would say, there's something there. There's something that people are drawn to. And I found it to be their commitment.
You think that's what they've got going for them, the sirens? It's commitment.
Yes. They were so intent on destroying those sailors, devouring them and ruining their families' lives, that they would
sucking their souls.
Yes, they would suck their souls. And so because of that desire, they would persevere, even if it was very cold outside. And I'm telling you what, the waters in that area, chilly, freezing.
That's what a lot of people don't know, is that when you see a siren, check the water temp. You don't want to get in that water if it's too cold.
Do not bother. Yes. Lick your finger, hold it up to the wind. If it's chilly, there's a good chance that water's going to be chilly as well. Speaking of chilly, TJ, have you had any chili dogs this week? You used to be such a fan of them.
Oh my gosh, I had some for breakfast this morning. How did you know?
Oh, I could see you had a little pep in your step as you walked into the office today. If I ever met someone who had chilies as the main course and chilies as a side, I don't remember them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I like to do a little thing where I get a chili dog, a big one, and then I get a little tiny one, and I put it on top, and that's sort of like his little blanket. It's like a security blanket.
DJ, no wonder why you're such a beloved member of the cast.
Oh, it's too nice coming from you, Rayclon. Oh, it's too nice.
Look at us loving each other here today. Isn't this wonderful?
Oh, what a love fest.
Gosh, it's like we all went through the trenches together, like some sort of like mythical war or something together, because we all went through the same things, which is being on Big Apple Live.
If I'm being honest, this was much harder than a mythical war, and I've been through many of them.
Really?
Yes. I've seen many a griffin pass before my eyes.
Wow.
As they battled to the very end. They would be beheaded. The body of the lion would be separated from their human-like head, or the wings of their bird-like body destroyed and ripped apart.
Oh, and you would be doing this?
Yes. Yes.
So by you've seen these things, you were through your eyes, and it was your hooves and hands.
I wanted to see the light leave their eyes.
Yeah.
I wanted to know that they were dead, and that they would never come back to haunt my lands again. Me and my brothers, we did what we needed to do. Much like many of the musical acts that would appear on the show, and they would be like, we want to do this deep cut, right? And the powers that be would say, no, play the radio hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I learned a lesson or two from them. I remember when Pearl Jam came on, they said, we would love to play Leash. And they said, just play Daughter. Everyone knows Daughter. We all like Daughter. But for the second song, they played Leash.
Oh,
and everyone loved it.
The crowd going nuts. Bjorn not loving it at the monitor. I remember they got halfway through Leash, and of course Eddie held up a picture of a dog to the camera, right on the camera, ripped it in half. Bjorn was livid.
I once asked Bjorn, I said, how many sour candies are you sucking on during a show?
What did he say?
He said, none. And I said, well, why do your face so sour all the time?
Were you up on your hind on
Canadian?
I got down. I got down on my haunches a bit, just to let him know that he was smaller than me. He didn't care for those types of jokes, but I laughed and I laughed.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of get where he's coming from.
Yes, I do too. It was insulting toward him. I agree.
No, of course, once you got on, like you said, it was a tough road, but you had a couple big breakthrough characters. You were in the background a lot, but you had, you remember that Marjorie the roller skating giant?
Yes, I do remember Marjorie the roller skating giant. Now, I'll tell you what, right now, Marjorie, originally another background character.
Oh, wow.
But during the performance, during the live taping, I said, Rayclon, it's now or never. So I added about 10 or 11 lines of dialogue that weren't there.
Wow. Now, this is bringing it back to me. Marjorie, she was in the background on a Celebrity Wheel of Fortune sketch, which is you wouldn't expect there to be background, but we had background.
Yep.
And so then the Pat Sajak, person
Pat
playing Pat Sajak.
Who was it? Was it Ryan Orphan?
It was Orphan. It was a classic Orphan, and he would do it's Sajak here, and we're back on Wheel of Fortunes. You stick an S on there to avoid copyright infringement.
Yes, it feels like Orphan is in the room. So I'm in the background of that sketch, and I said, Rayclon, it's now or never. So I put on 2 pairs of roller skates, and I said, I'm getting up to that wheel, and I'm giving it a spin. So I came up, and I spun that wheel, and I said, Pat, what have I won today? And Pat was like, what? And I said, let's see all the prizes. And I only saw old versions of the show, and that's when they would have like kind of a room full of prizes versus just like nowadays when they're just winning money right away, or that's about what they get.
Yeah, they'd pull back a curtain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he was like, you didn't win. I said, I didn't even wait for him to finish. And I went right into that prize room, and I started skating around all the prizes, the dinette set and the home entertainment system. And I just crashed into every single thing within there. I've never been on roller skates before. It was terrifying to me. And I crashed, and I tell you what, I twisted one of my hoofs. But the audience, they really took to it. And that's how that character was born. It appeared in over 11 sketches.
Yes.
We brought it back time and time again.
Yeah, and I believe 8 cut from dress that only were in dress. So if they would all have gone, it would have been 19.
It would have been 19, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they all had similar premises where it would always be some sort of game show.
Yep.
You would be in the background.
Yep.
Same opening line.
Yep.
Rayclon, it's my time to shine. Here we go.
Yeah, I would start off by saying, Rayclon, it's my time to shine.
Yeah.
No, it
Welcome
should be
back
like-
to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's me, Regis Philbin.
Rayclon, it's time to shine. And down I come.
Yeah.
Down I come. I don't even wait for him to get to the first question. I phone my friend immediately, and then I say, what do I win? And then I crash through everything on the set as quickly as possible. And the audience...
They'd be falling out of their chairs.
Fallen others. I mean, you've seen the parodies on YouTube and whatnot. It's a beloved character, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that I reached out and grabbed. Sometimes that's what you need to do.
And if you're listening at home and you're an aspiring comedian, human or centaur, is that what you would say to an aspiring comedian? Reach out and grab it, just make it happen?
Yes, as long as it's not my sketch. Get in there, get messy, do what you do, and you know what? What's the phrase? Act now, apologize later.
Oh, act now, apologize later. I thought it was
What
boogie
did you say?
down. I said boogie down, but that's not the one.
Okay, sounds like we're bringing in one of Billy's characters here, all right?
I did not fail to dance today with that woman. Let's boogie down. That was Boogie Bill Clinton, one of my big characters.
So good.
TJ kind of reminds me a little bit of your start when you were kind of forcing yourself upon people who didn't want to hear stand up. It's similar. You went out and grabbed it.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. I was just, an aspiring stand-up comedian, and I made my way to the basement area where we shot the show, and essentially just started my own open mic and just started doing stand-up for all the pages.
Down in 60 Carn, he'd just do it.
Down in 60 Carn, yeah.
Oh. Am I correct in saying this, TJ? You can correct me if I'm wrong here. But would you sometimes go to the local Target and hop on their paging system? Jenny to the front desk, Jenny to to cash register 2. Would you come there and get onto that microphone and then just rip through a set or two?
Oh yeah, I would do that. I would do crowd work over the page system.
Oh.
Just being like, what is this guy wearing a red shirt? What's with the red shirt? But it'd be a worker. It'd be somebody working there.
A big inspiration to Tom Green.
Oh yeah, not a lot of the people make that connection, but I sort of helped inspire Tom Green to do these sort of like prank videos.
Really?
And whatnot. Yeah.
Oh, we love Tom Green back here in the forest. I didn't realize that you were such an influence on him, but now that you say it, I see it.
Oh yeah, I would also make these videos kind of like pranking my parents, like very soft pranks, kind of like switching out their coffee in the morning with chili dogs.
Okay. I see it. I can see it. Rayclon, don't you try that with your dad.
Yeah, don't do that with
Zeus.
Don't do that with Zeus.
I will not. Trust me.
You get a butt full of lightning?
Almost immediately. I would perish almost immediately.
I don't want to see you get smote. That'd be scary.
Oh, it'd be terrifying. Could you imagine? The dryads wouldn't know what to do with themselves.
The
Dryads being tree nymphs is what they are. And currently I am, dating one. So.
You're dating a dryad.
wow.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yes,
Now,
I'm settling down.
Are y'all thinking about putting down roots?
Do you mind if I take that one?
Please.
Do you mind if I take that one?
Please. I would be honored to write for Rayclon's daily life jokes.
Oh, my goodness. She's going to laugh and laugh and laugh. Yes, we're looking to settle down, perhaps have some children of our own and carry on the namesake. But I'll tell you what. It's not easy, all right? She still is in her solo lifestyle, and I am patiently having to wait nearby and let her do what she needs to do in order to feel as though she is ready for a life of calm and relaxation and sitting in and watching our favorite shows on a Saturday night.
I love to hear that, but it can be a challenge with a significant other to get on the same page.
Yes.
One of you, wants to settle down. The other one's looking to branch out.
Hey, Billy, are you still on the show, or what's happening here?
That's good.
You can't turn me off.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't if I wanted to.
TJ,
would
was
never
there
want
anything? We're wrapping up the interview portion. Was there anything else we wanted to ask Rayclon about?
I mean, I feel like listeners would want to hear about your audition. How did you get your audition? What was the audition like?
Sure. I was fresh off the boat, as it were, and to be honest, a little disoriented because the city is so disorienting. I had never seen buildings before. I'd only seen trees and mountains, and I wasn't sure if they were sentient or not. So I talked to many of the buildings, the Flatiron Building, and
would they respond or
Square Garden? No, not a word. And I didn't know. I'm like, well, yeah, is it because you don't know me? And so I hung there for a while, and to no avail. I couldn't get a word in. They didn't provide a word in response. So I said, well, I've got to get to this audition. I can't be worried about whether these buildings like me or not. So I went into the audition.
Smart.
And they said to prepare an original character, an imitation, and a commercial pitch. So my original character, which you've seen in the show many times, is Calvin, the convenience store worker.
Yes.
Bit of a soothsayer is Calvin. Every time you would hand him a Snickers bar or a Reese's Pieces or whatnot, he would be stricken with a desire to tell you about your future.
Oh, right, Calvin. I love Calvin. Can we see a bit of that? Can I give you a something as Calvin? Can we see a bit of Calvin?
Okay, sure, absolutely.
Hey, I'll just get these Reese's Pieces.
All right. It'll be, 75 cents. You are about to meet the love of your life, only to have your heart broken immediately.
And then they would play the song.
And yes, they would play the song, and you would find that person would come in right away. You'd fall in love right away, and then you would fall out of love right away. Your heart would be broken. It was the immediacy of the predictions that really got the audience into it. It was very active.
Yes. And then you'd do that big take right down the lens, kind of do your hoof shrug.
I do the hoof shrug, and then I would always promote something that was going on. I had side promotions going on outside of the commercials that were already being
How
made
did
during
you
the
get
show.
away with that? Like, Bjorn is usually a hawk for those things.
Yes, and I said, Bjorn, you can let me shill for Chevrolet, or I walk. No, I gallop.
Ooh.
And Bjorn would relent. He would relent. So, Chevy Caprice, Chevy Malibu, Chevy S10. I was promoting them all right down the barrel. You've got to get yourself a Chevrolet Cavalier. Only at Fred Wolf's Chevrolet.
Oh, it was
on
local.
4th and Greenfield. It was local. They were always local spots.
Local spots.
Wow. Man, I love that sketch. I can't believe we hadn't talked about that sketch already, but yes, so that was in your audition. That
was in my audition.
Did you get laughs? I didn't get any laughs at mine.
I got a couple of laughs. Mostly, I mean, I was laughing. I laughed throughout my entire
the whole thing.
audition.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just having a good time. I was happy to be here, and everyone in the audience, they were all so funny, and they were all cast members. And I would say, "Oh my God, I remember a sketch you did. I remember a sketch you did. I remember a sketch you did." And I would just think about those sketches in my mind, and I would laugh and try to get through my own little set.
Wow. A great vibe. But TJ and I, we've heard so many audition stories. A lot of times people get no laughs. Bjorn will just sit there in the front row in the light, shaking his head, eating popcorn. It's tough. It's a tough room. So good for you.
Yeah, TJ, didn't you, if I remember correctly, didn't you stop your audition about halfway through?
I did. I had to take a few phone calls with my agent during the time. He was really like, I shouldn't do the show. I was getting offers to do, another TV show at the time that was going to be mostly just me kind of on my phone. It was really it was a breakthrough kind of unconventional type of show. It's just going to be me scrolling on my phone.
Oh, I would have watched 6 seasons of that.
Very voyeuristic. I think
Yeah.
too ahead of for the time.
Yeah. But you ended up doing that TV adaptation of Waterworld, right?
I did, and I did all my own stunts, including. I don't know if you've ever seen the Waterworld stunt show at Universal Studios Hollywood.
yes.
But so I did my own kind of like a jet ski going into the water, back outside of the water for the show, and
TJ, unbelievable.
took a lot, but happy to do it.
And we were all happy to see it. It was incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah, 11 seasons.
Yeah, but during the audition, going back to the laughs. Every time each one of my characters wouldn't get a laugh, I would say, "Pause for laugh." Pause for laugh, and I got a little chuckle. So
That's good.
That is funny. That is very funny. Letting them know. Maybe think about laughing.
Think about laughing.
Yeah, you guys considered it?
Yep.
Wow, I can't, and that was a great audition. I've seen the tape, and aside from you left a few holes in the stage from getting a little rowdy. Other than that, it seemed like it went really well.
Yeah, well, there was a mouse that came in there, and that did frighten me terribly, and so I did end up kicking a lot. I wasn't sure. I'd never seen a city mouse before, and
Was it Pizza Rat?
it was Pizza Rat. Yes, now that you say it was Pizza Rat.
Wow.
I didn't know it at the time, but later on, Pizza Rat did come to me and say, "Hey, remember me?" And I said, "Oh my God, Pizza Rat, you nearly ruined my audition."
2 stars. Wow. Rayclon and Pizza Rat together? I wish we could have seen that sketch, but he came to fame well after your time on the show.
Yes. You'll just have to settle for the musical collaboration that we did.
Oh, you guys,
Yeah.
you guys like made it big on Spotify. You guys made it on a lot of the Spotify raps.
Yeah. Top of the jazz charts.
Oh, it was a jazz collab.
Yep. Me on the saxophone and Pizza Rat on the stand-up bass.
Oh, so it's not you, neither of you sing.
Oh,
It's just sax and bass.
no. If you heard us sing, you'd be running for the hills, I'll tell you what. You'd be saying, "Zeus, please kill me."
I would never say that because he will, I assume.
Yes, he will. He doesn't have much of a sense of humor. He doesn't pick up on sarcasm or anything like that. He just takes you at your word and does what you ask him to do.
Okay.
I guess that's sweet in a way, but must be hard for a funny Centaur son. Or I don't know if you consider yourself a son or just offspring or how that works.
I consider myself an offspring, and I did invite him to a couple of shows. He came to one, and I couldn't help but just look at him the entire time, and he just stone-faced the entire time, looking at his watch.
Oh, isn't that the worst? You could be killing at your show, and you're just focused on the one person with their arms crossed, judging, not laughing.
I know. And the audience also struggled to laugh. They were staring at him quite a bit. He's a large man, and also shirtless, very muscular. And there's an amount of electricity always kind of permeating from his
Almost always
body.
glowing. So it would be very distracting in a dark room.
Yeah, very distracting.
Yeah.
Yes. Every sketch was overlit as a result.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Bit of a glow up, you might say. And
Yeah, you could say that.
great interview portion. I loved that, Rayclon. That's the conclusion of the interview portion. We'll keep talking about stuff, but right now we're going to get to a segment called Rejected Weekend Bulletin Jokes.
Great. Also, I just want to say what a seamless transition that was from one section to the next. That was just, I hardly knew it even happened. It went so smoothly.
Yeah, I pride myself on transitions. I'm a bit like
You should.
Premiere or Da Vinci Resolve in that I'll do a wipe and you won't even realize it.
Incredible.
So this is Rejected Weekend Bulletin Jokes. Over the years, of course, I wrote and performed on BAL, and I wrote a lot of Weekend Bulletin jokes. I only ever got one on. So this is my opportunity to kind of get some airtime for these jokes that didn't see the light of day on BAL, but they'll see the light of day on this podcast. Here's the first joke. The number one film at the box office is sci-fi thriller The Matrix, which has left many moviegoers wondering if The Matrix is real and their lives are an illusion. Okay, so when it's The Matrix, wondering whether it's real, it's hip and cool. But when I said the same thing about The Lion King, I have to talk to the network doctor. What the heck? That was my, I was trying to get that catchphrase started. What the heck?
Was it too tight? Was that joke too tight for them? Was that the problem?
They had a lot of issues with sentence count, and kind of run on sentences that they would say was an issue for them. Well, why don't you see if you can how this works for you there.
Okay.
Rayclon, here's a joke for you.
And I should just read this one?
Just read it cold.
Okay. A new pager company called BlackBerry is now the most popular device, outselling Motorola. I tried to send a page with my BlackBerry, but the only response I got was a glass full of delicious blackberry juice.
Okay. Any notes on that one from anybody?
No, I think I don't understand why they didn't put that on air. That's my note.
Thank you. That's a great note.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I appreciate that.
I agree. And I think, honestly, you could use that one now. I think that would apply. I think that could get good laughs today.
Yeah,
That's
I think it's
so
an evergreen
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah, pretty timeless.
That's exciting. TJ, you want to try this next one?
Sure. Scientists have announced that they have successfully sequenced an entire human DNA chromosome. Meanwhile, I'm over here in my dressing room, and I can't even successfully sequence my shiny blazer.
Yeah, so that one is a really visual. It helps when you see the words.
Sure.
And that
Yes.
was the note I got back. Sequence, too difficult of a pun
sequence.
for people to see in their mind's eye.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to have the joke itself appearing on the screen in addition to
Almost like
saying it.
highlighted, too. The words.
I wish we had. We didn't have
Sequence and
chirons.
sequence.
We didn't have chirons when I was on.
It should be blinking. Both of those words should be blinking on the screen.
Yes. Hindsight's always 20/20, is it not, TJ?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah, it is.
Gosh, I wish I had 20/20 vision. Spent a fortune on glasses. Here's the next one.
me.
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Wow. Glad that book wasn't about me, because if they opened my Chamber of Secrets, let's just say there'd be less wizards in there and a few more news of my affair with ice cream cakes. I love ice cream cakes. What the heck?
See, that's a top-notch joke. I don't. And again, another evergreen one talking about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
News of my affair with ice cream cakes.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you what, you kept me guessing right up until the last moment. I'll say that. That was definitely on the edge of my seat. What's coming next?
Yeah, it's a twist. I like a twist. Rayclon,
Yes.
would you like to read one about golfer Tiger Woods or Nintendo's Pokemon?
I'll read Golfer's Tiger Woods.
All right, perfect. That's here's the card for that.
Okay. Golfer Tiger Woods has won his first PGA championship. It wasn't really fair, though, because Tiger Woods was up against human indoors.
You get how it tracks. You guys see how it tracks. Nobody at the show understood this one.
And again, this one I would love to see the words Tiger Woods and human indoors on the screen. Flashing.
Yeah, Tiger Woods as a name, it's just so evocative.
Yes.
It is.
And it is interesting how I think probably subconsciously we all agree, somehow woods is superior to indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, at least to me now, am I biased? Certainly, I come from the forest.
Absolutely.
But I do feel that woods is superior to indoors.
I see, and that's a great, first of all, great news cadence. Were you ever considered for Weekend Bulletin?
I did try out for I did try out for 60 Minutes, and
Wow.
I said, what if we just tighten that up a little bit?
59?
20.
Whoa.
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yes.
Well, let me guess. The ad department loved it.
ad department said, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's have less time to air our products." Yes. Their products, I guess I should say.
Well, because they knew you would be able to just like talk about the products within the program, like because you did
right
that
to the
during your
camera.
sketches. Yeah.
Yes. Check out Chevy Silverado and Fred Wolf's Chevrolet on 4th and Greenfield. Fred Wolf being a writer, I believe, on a competing late night
Yes, absolutely.
sketch show, if I'm not mistaken, now that I'm saying that out loud, but also owned a car dealership.
That's right. Fred and Dick, kind of like a big showbiz brothers. Fred Wolf, Dick Wolf, they're all over it.
Yes. Could you imagine working with your brothers? Would that be something that you would enjoy, or is there too much animosity between
I guess
you and
it
your
would
siblings?
depend on if you were the older or younger sibling, because there's that dynamic. Or if you were twins, because then there's also that dynamic. If you were twins, you would be in the other brother's kind of like shadow all the time.
Oh my gosh, I've never thought of such a thing. If they were twins, if they were twins, would they have to be the same character in every sketch?
Ooh.
Absolutely.
I think they would, and I think every sketch would have to be about twins.
I think so.
You switch out between each camera move. So when the coverage switches to the single for the other person, you switch out twins.
I wish I had a twin. I think that would be great. I would love to have someone so close to me.
It would be the greatest. You would walk into every room, no matter what was happening, and just announce, "And twins."
That's good. And on that
Right?
note,
You would be able to.
TJ, you want to read this next joke?
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, I have to pass you the card. There you go.
Nintendo's Pokemon has swept the nation as the latest video game fad. Pokemon? Wow, sounds like a good way for a man to get mad at you for poking him. Kids are crazy with these fads.
They are. It's true. And
This one's another timeless one.
thank you. God, this feels good today. Getting these jokes out there, it feels like redemptive. I can't tell you how many times I heard, maybe have a take on this. Billy?
Also, just quick question. I don't know enough about this genre, I guess. So Nintendo's Pokemon was I know Pokemon, the cards were a big fad, but also Nintendo did Nintendo own the cards, or did they have a game called Pokemon that was popular?
It's both, yeah. So they own, it's actually multiple companies. It's 3 different companies own Pokemon.
And Nintendo is one of them?
Nintendo is one of them, yes.
Mario wasn't enough?
Whoa, that's a better punchline. Why couldn't we have overlapped? I think me and Rayclon in a room, sure, I would be crowded, but you would understand my pants. If I wore those Centaur pants, you would get it.
That took me a second to
It's kind of a deep callback.
Yes. I would understand your pants for sure.
Now it's time, of course. That was Weekend Bulletin rejected jokes, and now it's time for our penultimate segment, July's Funny Pages.
Yeah, so this is part of the show where I, TJ, read a comic strip, and I'm going to give you, Rayclon, the choice between 3 different comics for me to read.
Got it.
You have the choice between Drabble, Baby Blues, or Garfield.
Give me a Drabble if you're giving me a choice.
Great. So the way this works is I'll read the first couple panels, and then we'll go around and you guys will guess what the final panel is, because usually the way these funny pages are, it's always a setup to a punchline.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So here we go. We got 4 panels. In the first panel, we see a man reaching into a car, and he's saying, "Sweet." Okay, that's the first panel.
Got it.
Second panel, we got a close-up on the man, and has his hand over his mouth, and he's going, "Munch, munch."
Okay.
Third panel, he spits out whatever he put in his mouth, and he goes, "Blah." And it looks like a little white square that he's spitting out of his mouth.
Okay, I have a pitch.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it a dialogue balloon? Is there a dialogue balloon?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
In the dialogue balloon, I think he goes, I was hungry for nuts. These are lug nuts.
Now I gotta say that's, I think, better than what the actual
And I should leave now.
panel is. Yeah. Yeah, Rayclon, do you have a guess?
Yes. He says, peppermint Mentos. I'm more of a spearmint Mentos person.
Again, another better
That's a knockout.
joke. Mm-hmm. But you're sorry to say you're both wrong.
Wait, what?
Drat.
Yeah.
We're both of us?
Both of us.
Yeah. Sorry.
Ugh.
Unbelievable.
So this is the final panel.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I hate it when I see a donut crumb in my car and find out it isn't.
My slight.
So I guess it could have been a spearmint,
Yeah.
you know, or it could have been anything.
Does
really.
it end
doesn't
with an
say what
ellipses?
it is.
Does it end with like ...
No, it ends
Okay.
with an exclamation point.
I wish it was a ... That always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'll say that. I don't hate it.
And now is the part of the show where I read the comments on the comic.
Yep.
Dr. Barb71 says, and I thought this guy couldn't get any more disgusting.
Oh, Barb. Dr. Barb. Aptly named.
Wildland Water says, a little past the 5-second rule with the sick emoji, with the green sick emoji.
This comment section often makes me feel like I'm at the lunchroom table in 7th grade. It's kind of a fun vibe.
Sir Isaac says, who can forget Bill Murray cleaning out the country club pool in Caddyshack?
Honestly, these comments are all more supportive than I would have expected.
They're always fun and nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's 20 more comments, but I'll leave you on this one.
Yeah. That was July's funny pages.
Yeah.
And now it's time for our last segment. It's called Plugs. Rayclon, what a joy it's been having you here. One of the greats, one of the BAL greats. I would like to know both anything that you've got going on, and is there any like comedians that you follow that might have things that you want to promote?
Well, if you want to come to the forest, the Foloi Forest, you can come to the Ever Giving Rock, where I will be doing stand-up all weekend. It's more of just a hobby at this point. I just do it for fun. I'm not looking to get much out of it. But come to the Ever Giving Rock and know that there is a 2-pod minimum. You have to buy at least two. I'll call them sweet pods, and they are delicious. You will want at least 2 of them. Trust me. They will give you a brief glimpse into past memory that you hadn't recalled in quite some time. Whoa. Some people like that. Others, it causes a slight bit of angst. However, that is the price of admission. Outside of that, if you want, let's see, some friends I've got. Here's one. Have you ever seen Seinfeld?
Oh, sure.
I have, of course.
Oh, me too. I think
Kramer,
it's a fun
you
show.
love Kramer, right?
Up to a point, yes. I would say check out that show if you have never seen it before. Check it out. It's mostly in rerun format now.
Okay.
I don't think they're doing any more new episodes, to my knowledge.
That's one of my
Yes!
characters. Yeah.
Yes. Spot on. So I'd say check out Seinfeld if you get the chance. It's a funny show. 8 seasons, maybe 9, but I believe 8.
Can I also say, on the subject of Seinfeld, one of the great sitcoms of our era, St. Dennis Medical. Have you checked that out?
Oh, I have not. But it sounds like a good show, and I bet people have tuned in.
Part of the title now that I've said it out loud. It might just be
I
St.
bet it
Dennis.
is. It seemed crazy if it's just St. Dennis. It's probably St. Dennis Medical. It's probably on a network like NBC. Yes. Are they working on a second season right now? Probably. Well, when will that air? Who knows? But you can check out probably all the first season on NBC or Peacock.
Peacock.
Yes.
We all love
and
Peacock.
Yes, as do I. Also, just
Do you see any peacocks out in the forest?
Yes, we do. They're honestly peacocks. They're a rarity in my neck of the woods, as it were. I see more pileis, and their feathers are... Peacocks have long feathers at the back, but these are more like 40 feet.
Whoa!
Yes, you could say they're an extreme version of that. The last thing I guess I would plug is if you are in the market for a Chevrolet Camaro, make sure you get over to Fred Wolf's Chevrolet on 4th and Greenfield.
Wow, what a great show this was. Great plugs. Thanks to our guest, Rayclon. Thanks to our musical guest, Usher. And everybody have a great week. Good night. Give me a hug, guys. Give me a hug. Wow, what a great
hug over
show.
here. Yeah. Get in here.
Rayclon, that cracked me up when you were like, when you were talking about some of your old characters, and then you were talking about how people drink pods. That blew my mind.
Oh, you got to get out here. We would love to have you. I know you don't like to fly, but you got to get on a boat. You got to get on one of those Carnival cruises or a Disney cruise, whichever cruise you want.
Disney does cruises?
They do cruises.
Whoa, give me a hug.
They're magical. Yeah, you get a hug. Yeah.
Oh, Rayclon, I'm just so happy that you were able to just be so open about your dad and how great he is to you, and how he keeps you grounded, you know, and to also talk about how he spilled his seed.
You really lit up about that, TJ.
Yeah, TJ, I could tell that was going to draw you in.
Yeah.
It's if I was dangling a chili dog right in front of you.
Yeah, get in here. Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
Handshake for me. Oh, man, what a great week. Live from the Big Apple is fully improvised in front of a live studio audience. Just kidding.
TJ Hunter's Cap was played by me, July Diaz, and you can follow July, that's me, over at July's the Future on Instagram and anywhere you are online.
Billy Rockwell was played by Ben Castle, which is me. You can follow Ben on Instagram at Ben Castle, PENCASSIL, where he posts about upcoming improv shows and improv workshops.
Be sure to rate Live from the Big Apple on your podcast app of choice, and make sure you tell a friend to listen, please.
You can follow us on Instagram at Big Apple Live, and follow us on YouTube for full video episodes at LFTBA Podcast.
And if you have any questions about Big Apple Live or want any life advice from Billy and TJ, email us at livefromthebigapple@gmail.com. Stay tuned for more
Live from the Big Apple. Big Live from the Big Apple. That's pretty good.